Join me as I dive deep into the mystery and try to uncover what's really behind these 5 spooky Halloween legends. Halloween is a time for thrills and chills, a night when we revel in the spooky and unknown. But behind the costumes and candy, there's a rich cultural heritage that's often overlooked. The legends of Halloween, those creepy tales we tell around campfires and at slumber parties, have a fascinating history that's worth exploring. You might think that Halloween legends are purely the product of our collective imagination, conjured up to entertain and unsettle us. But the truth is, these stories are often rooted in fact, drawing on historical events and cultural beliefs that are both fascinating and unsettling. Over time, they've been embellished and distorted, but their origins reveal a more complex and intriguing picture. For centuries, humans have been fascinated by the supernatural and the unexplained. From ghosts and demons to curses and hexes, we've created a vast array of legendary creatures and stories that continue to captivate us today. And yet, when we peel back the layers, we find that many of these legends have their roots in real events, twisted and distorted over time to create the spine-tingling tales we know and love. One of the most compelling aspects of Halloween legends is the way they reflect our deepest fears and anxieties. From the fear of death and the afterlife to the terror of the unknown, these stories tap into our primal fears, making them all the more compelling and unsettling. Let's start with the legend of the jack-o'-lantern. You might think it's just a fun craft project for kids, but the origins of the jack-o'-lantern are rooted in ancient Celtic traditions. The Celts believed that carved turnips could ward off evil spirits, and when European settlers came to America, they found pumpkins are more abundant and easier to carve. But what started as a harmless tradition took a darker turn in the 19th century, when Irish immigrants brought their own folklore to America, including the story of Stingy Jack, who was doomed to roam the earth with only a lantern to light his way. Next up is the legend of the witch. You might think witches are purely the product of medieval fantasy, but the truth is, witch hunts were a very real and very deadly phenomenon. In the 17th century, thousands of people, mostly women, were executed for practicing witchcraft, often on the flimsiest of evidence. The hysteria surrounding witchcraft was fueled by superstition and fear, and it's a darker side of human nature that we'd do well to remember. Then there's the legend of the vampire. You might think vampires are purely the product of Bram Stoker's imagination, but the truth is, the idea of blood-sucking creatures has been around for centuries. From ancient Greece to medieval Europe, there are stories of blood-drinking demons and monsters, often used to explain mysterious illnesses and deaths. Another legend is that of the ghostly hitchhiker. You might think it's just a fun urban legend, but the truth is, the idea of ghostly hitchhikers has been around for centuries. In medieval Europe, it was believed that the souls of the dead could appear on roads and highways, often seeking to complete unfinished business. And in the 20th century, the legend took on a new twist, with reports of ghostly hitchhikers appearing in cars and taxis. Finally, there's the legend of the haunted house. You might think it's just a fun trope in horror movies, but the truth is, haunted houses have a long history that dates back to ancient times. From Roman ruins to abandoned asylums, people have always been fascinated by the idea of places that are haunted by malevolent spirits. And the truth is, many of these places have real histories of tragedy and trauma that have contributed to their haunted reputations. But of all these legends, one stands out as particularly shocking: the legend of the vampire. What if I told you that the inspiration for the modern vampire legend came from a very real and very gruesome phenomenon? The epidemic of exhumed corpses in 19th century Europe. It's true. During the cholera epidemic, many people were buried alive, and when they were exhumed, they showed signs of having tried to escape their graves. The idea of the revenant was born, and it's a far cry from the romanticized vampires of modern fiction. As we delve deeper into these legends, we're reminded that folklore and history are intimately connected. Behind every spooky tale, there's a kernel of truth that reveals something deeper about human nature and our collective psyche. These legends may be scary, but they're also a reflection of our deepest fears and anxieties. Thanks for joining me on this journey into the heart of Halloween legends. If you've got a favorite spooky tale, let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to check out our other videos for more intriguing stories.